Okay, this is going to be kind of quick. I'm going to go over picking uh, the analogous hues for this study. Some of you are still having problems kind of understanding the way the values need to be spread out on the analogous hues. So what I did, and I'm going to suggest you do this, is make this a little bit easier. Instead of doing two 8 by 8 artboards, I did one 16 by 8 artboard, and then I set my 4 by 4 uh, circles up in here. This will be a little bit easier when I go to save it. I'll just save it as one file. Okay, so what I'm going to do is the split complement that I decided to use is a split complement of red as my base color, and then I go off the complement cyan, and I'm going to use cyan blue and cyan green. So I wanted to get the red a little bit lighter, so I uh, added some white into it, and you can see what that does to it. It's at um, about 84%, but you can see they're equal, so that means that it is indeed red. That's why it looks sort of orangish. But I did that because the value was a little bit too dark. I wanted to get this value to be about 50%, this around 10 to 15, and this at about 80 to 90. So that's why I did that. So I basically have a tint, very, very slight tint of red, a tint of cyan green, and then a shade of the cyan blue. Okay, now I'm going to be using the uh, red as my starting point for my analogous colors. So because I'm going to be using them in the composition where it's common to both, I have to pick exactly the same red. So when I selected it, I went to the eyedropper tool and then I just selected that, and that gives me the exact same color. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to go this way on my analogous. So I'm going to go red, red magenta, and then magenta. So what I did just to experiment is just start with my red, and then I did the prismatic of magenta and then the prismatic of magenta red, right? If I went through and blended the colors, you can see what begins to happen, that they're all going to look very close to the same value. So I don't want to do that. So what I want to do is, if this is about 50%, and I can tell, what I'll do is I'll select all three colors, and I'll go to edit, edit colors, and I'll go convert to grayscale. Then I click out of the selection, and then when I select this, it'll go to the grayscale and it'll tell me what the percentage is. Look at that, it's 50%. Okay, now that's about 64 and that's about 64. Well, what I really want to do is I want to get this one, all the way up to about 15, and I want to get this one down to about 80. Something like that, right? So now I'll have a bigger spread of value. So the way I'm going to do that, if I hit on the Mac Command Z and on the PC Control Z, it'll go back to my original hues. So let's adjust these. So I'm going to hit the Shift key, and I got to make sure I'm in CMYK. And I'm going to pull this down to about here. And that's going to be close to what I want. Then I'm going to go over to my red magenta. I'm going to add black, and I'm going to put in about 50% black. Okay. Now let's check it. Let's see what we get. So I'm going to go edit, colors, convert to grayscale, click outside of this. Now, see, I'm at 16. That's not bad. I'm at 80, and then I'm back at 50. So that's good. Okay, so now what I can do is, now that I have a nice spread of value, I can go ahead and blend these. So select. Okay, so now what I can do is blend these. So um, hit the Shift key, select these three paths, go edit colors, blend vertically. Blend horizontally. Okay. Now, I need this color, and I can do any combination to get that. So I think I'll do these. This one. There you go. These are a little bit close together, but that's, good enough. Okay. Um, Probably just going to use the same background since I'm going to do it. And I've got them on separate layers, but since this is going to be in one composition, I'll just bring that guy over, and there we go. Okay, so very quickly to save it, uh, I could save it as an Illustrator file, so I would go File, Save As, and I'm just going to save it as an Illustrator file. But if let's say I did that, now I'm ready to save it to Blackboard. Um, what I would do is select the artboard panel. That basically is going to crop it, and then I'm going to go File. I'm going to go. So I'm in 2017, so this is a little bit different. If you're in 2015 or 2016, you're going to go File, and what you'll probably see is a Save for Web version. It'll probably be up here. In this, you're going to go Export and then Save for Web. And what it will compress it, and it compresses it. Remember, we don't want to have anything larger than 1200, so that'll be just right. I want to go up here and set it for JPEG high, and then I will be fine. And I'll save it to the desktop. And then I can just check to make sure that there it is right there. So I go in preview, and there it is. So there you go.